Okay, algebra geometry. Our next homework assignment or activity is this CSI Whodunit. All right, so this is once again review from middle school math, just to sort of get us started slow here. This is pre-algebra, and this is just on order of operations. So things you've learned before, but it's a good reminder to get us going again in the right direction. So let's take a look at number one. If we turn the page here, number one is this 9 minus quantity 3 divided by 3 squared. All right, so we're going to copy that problem down, double check it. Here, 9 minus 3 divided by 3 squared. All right, just double check that you've copied it down right. Maybe even take a staple out of this and make sure you've got the right problem to start. And this is where you're going to show all of your work, okay? So I need to follow my order of operations. I want you to write at the top of your paper, I want you to write PEMDAS. Okay. Now PEMDAS is your order of operations. So you have parentheses, you have exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Now if you want, you can group together these two, and then you can group together these two, because technically multiplication and division are really the same operation. You know, dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2. And addition and subtraction, same thing. You know, subtracting 2 is really adding a -2. So those are kind of interchangeable, but you know, I don't know how you want to remember this. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is one that I used to use when I was your age. You know, there's others I'm sure on the internet, but acronyms for remembering this. But you do need to remember your order of operations. It is very, very important in math, all right, because you get very different answers depending on the order in which you evaluate these algebraic expressions, numeric expressions here. So the first one here, I need to do parentheses first. Parentheses come first. So to do what's in the parentheses, this part right here, 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. All right. And I do want you guys to show your work step by step. Ms. Tietzman and I will be checking your work, and you need to have the correct work step by step. All right, so 1 squared is then 1, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is exponents. So 1 squared is 1, in which case we get 9 minus 1. Now, be careful not to square this negative sign right there. That negative sign is not under the operation of squaring, okay? So there's a big difference between -1 squared and 1 squared. All right, -1 squared gives you +1, and I'm sorry, -1 squared written like this really gives you -1. All right, because in this one you're squaring both of the 1 and the negative sign, while in this one you're squaring the 1 but not the negative sign. All right, so that's very important, and that's what we have here. We're just squaring the 1, we are not squaring that negative right there. So be careful with that. That's a common student error that's going to show up a lot this year. All right. The last step then is we have addition or subtraction. So that's what we're going to do last, and we get our final answer, which is 8. So we're going to box that answer, and then we're going to look at our choices here. We know the answer is 8, so basically we're going to circle that. We know the victim was not mauled by a cougar. All right, and we're going to use these clues, and you can use this organization thing here. Basically, when you're done, and you're going to say, mauled by a cougar, you know that's not it, okay? So fill this out and basically use the clues that you solve throughout these problems to figure out the players, their known whereabouts, and the method of the killer. This is supposed to be a fun algebra worksheet, hopefully, to get you somewhat interested in some of this maybe more boring math, but the skills you need in order to move forward with math. All right, so we'll try another one here. Okay, so one more here, and I'm going to take my time through this one. This is number 9, so this is a much more challenging one. Okay, so I'm going to follow my order of operations. I'll write it right up here again. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, so first of all, parentheses. All right, I'm going to look at, there's a big set of parentheses here, so I have to do everything that's inside here first. So the square is going to happen very last. But there's another set of parentheses inside of that, so I have to start there. All right. So -1 minus 3 is -4. All right, and I still have divided by 4 inside of here, and then I still have times 3 times 5. I still have a -2 being added, and I still have this 24 divided by 6 there as well. So you do have to copy everything else down. The only thing I did was the -1 minus 3. All right, now I can drop those parentheses because those parentheses aren't there anymore. All right, now I need to go to what's next inside the parentheses, which would be, I don't see any exponents, so we're going to go to multiplication or division. There is, those are all interchangeable, so basically I'm going to underline this, I'm going to underline this, and I'm going to underline all that. So basically I need to do these two things that are underlined here. You can do them together, you know, the same time, the next step. So let's do 24 divided by 6, which is 4. All right, I still have the minus 2 plus, and then this. Now order doesn't matter here between the multiplication and division. So it doesn't matter what order I do this in, I'll just work left to right. So I have 5 times 3, which is 15. All right, I'm still going to have times -4 and divided by 4. All right. Now I think it's easier to do the -4 divided by 4 here. You know, it doesn't matter. You can do you can still work left to right and do 15 times -4, and that'll give you -60, and then -60 divided by 4 if you prefer. But I see that this is just 1 right here, actually -1. So I'm going to do -4 divided by 4, which is -1, and I still need to multiply that by 15. And then let's finish. Now I still have this multiplication here, so that turns into -15. Oh, don't forget the squared. All right, and now I have all addition and subtraction. So now I can work left to right again, or order doesn't matter here. But let's do 4 minus 2, which is 2. And then I have plus 15 or plus a -15 or minus 15, whichever way you prefer. 2 minus 15 is -13. And then when I square this, it is in parentheses, so I have to square the negative sign and the 13. So 13 times 13 in your calculator is 169, so it's going to be positive 169, because the negative sign gets squared and the 13 gets squared. So positive 169 should be your number, and you can go ahead and match your clue from there. All right, go ahead and rewatch this one if you want. I know I went through that one a little quicker and it's much more difficult. We are going to try to challenge you guys a little bit with some of these ones, but hopefully this helps and hopefully your guys' worksheet goes well. And if you have any questions, please email me or bring them to class and we'll get to them as soon as we can. We'll talk to you soon.